Hello students, good evening. Today we will discuss manner of articulation and place of articulation. So before moving, first let me show you the diagram. Table. That is the table of manner of articulation and place of articulation. I will show. This is the manner, right? Manner is stop, fricative, affricate, and then nasal, lateral, rhotic, and glide, right? These are the different types of manner. And place is that bilabial, labiodental, interdental, then alveolar, palatal, velar, and glottis, right? These are called place and manner of articulation. So first, uh, I would like to discuss this one. That's a one by one, which is very important. Let us see. That's a what they say, that if English is not your first language, of course, English is not our first language. Hindi is our first language, and then English is second language, and that's why English is called L2, right? Second language. Now if English is not your first language, making English sounds does not come naturally. You might speak a language that has many similar sounds, but there is a good chance your native language does not include all of the sounds of English. So what they say, that is why you need to understand how and where sounds of English occur, right? What they say, that if our first language is not English, then English sounds does not come naturally, definitely, because we are not much familiar, or we are familiar, but that we are not much acquainted with English as Hindi. And what further they say, that you might speak a language that has many similar sounds, but that there is a good chance your native language does not include all the sounds of English, right? So we speak Hindi, and then that is why not all sounds which are in English. So what they say, that is why you need to understand how and where the sounds of English occur, and the how of making sounds is called the manner, like how English is spoken, this way I would say. So how of making sounds is called, how means, if we reply of how, so that will be the manner of articulation. And where the making sound is called, and where, when we get answer of where of making sound, which is called place of articulation. So that's a very good thing. Now in here I am telling you that, wait a minute, yeah, what is manner of articulation? So manner of articulation is the how of making sound, means how sound is produced. When we get answer of how, that is called manner of articulation. When learning our first language, we don't usually think about how we make sound. We do when we learn something, so that's our first language. Say for Hindi, when we were learning Hindi, we don't usually think about how we make sound. We do. So I used to tell that our mother is the first teacher, and mother never taught you when we start speaking Hindi. So mother never taught us about grammar, but then unconsciously we have learned so many things in grammar. Now what just reproduce what we have heard over the first few years of our lives. So what we have heard, see, reading, writing, speaking, and listening. Out of all these four practices, four things, what is the most important thing is that that is listening is very important, right? Then we make sounds without thinking how our mouth, tongue and are doing unless we need the additional support of speech therapy, right? So we make sounds without thinking how our mouth, tongue and yes, mouth, tongue and teeth are doing unless we need the additional support of speech therapy. Okay, now manner of articulation is second language. Second language learning is important because pronunciation does not come as naturally as when learning our first language. We are very much comfortable with our first language, but when we speak second language, then we have to put efforts sometime. And it is important to know how sounds are made so that you can pronounce sound correctly and speak more clearly. Naturally, if we are good and clear about pronunciation and all, so that our language will be more clear and our message will be more and more clear. So in this section, manner of articulation or how we make sound, we are going to study, right? Now very important part is that there are 6 different ways or manner of articulation. Articulation is what? Articulation is when we use articulation means upper lip, lower lip, upper teeth ridge, lower teeth ridge, tongue, esophagus, or that is trachea. So these are all our the organs of speech. And then how do they work? So that is called manner of articulation, that we will discuss in this lesson. Here videos are there, and then leave it because I cannot show you video, or if you wish to see, you can see.
Then you release it. Okay? We think of this as like a sudden burst of air. These are sounds like b, t, d, g. All of these sounds collect air in your mouth or somewhere behind the tongue, and then suddenly out comes the sound. Those are called plosives or stops. So say them with me. And feel the air collect.
So here in next time I am going to tell you, but what I would like to tell you that she is explaining all these sounds, so let us discuss together. That is stop or plosive, right? Stop, or we build pressure of air and then release it. In the case of stop or plosive, this is sudden burst of air. Example of stop including P, B, D, K, G. So here what happened, that it build pressure of air and then release it. In the case of P, so you do mirror practice, you just watch when you speak B. So then B, so there is pressure, air pressure, and it is released. B, T, D, K, G, all these are the example of stop or plosive, right? What they say, initial sound, this is pig, P for pig, B for bag, tall, dead, kick, girl. Now number 2, fricative sound. We stop part of the air, so it can, first let us see the example. F, fricative is F. So what is written here I will tell you, but first of all listen to me. That's when we speak F, so what, our lower lip touches, lower lip is touched by our upper teeth, and then make a contact, that's a F, and little bit air is passed, right? Same he is explaining here, that F, V, S, right? Z, hip, ship, pleasure, they, theta. All are called fricative sound. So what they say, we stop part of the air, so it can't come through everywhere. It is a stream of air, right? Just see, speak with me. That's a last is theta, theory. So theory, right? So what they say, that is the stream of air. When we speak stream of air, imagine a river of water flowing. Then imagine put a large rock in the center of the river. The flow of water would change because of large rock, but water would still flow around it. This is strong description of what a fricative sound is formed. There is a flowing river of air and you partially block it with your tongue, teeth or lips. How? Because different cases are there. So this in the case of F, so that's a R flowing of river of air, R इस तरह से, F again, V, right? So that's a, all these are, and then are partially block it, we just partially block it with our tongue, sometime teeth or sometime lips, in all these different cases, and they have given example, right? Okay, now affricate. Third variety is affricate. We combine stops and fricative to form affricate. Affricate is ch and j, right? Affricate start with a stop and then transitions into a fricative. Okay, it is affricate is comes, we combine stop and fricative to form affricate. So this is the join of stops and fricative. How? That's a stop is T. Just now we have read, and then sh. So that's a T and sh. That's a combination of T and sh, and then so that is the combination, combine stops and fricative, and then make affricates, right? So this is, that's a stop and fricative, and then this is very beautiful and strong strong description, right, with a stop and then transition into fricative. And that's why these are the two sounds, means first we have to start from stop and end with fricative, and because it becomes affricative, right? Sorry, affricate, right? And these are the examples, catch, badge. Okay, now next is nasal. Three sounds come in nasal. Nasal is from nose or nostril. We close our palate, means our mouth, and let air stream through the nose, right? When we speak M, N and Inga, right? So in all these cases, we close our oral part, lips we close, our palate, and let air stream through the nose, and then air stream comes through our nostrils. Say for example M, then air comes, passes from the nostril, N, and then Inga. So all these are called nasal sound. Then liquid. Liquid, when let air stream on the sides of our tongue. Example, red. Ray. In the case of R tip of the tongue touches to soft palate, hard palate, and then air passes from two sides. So red and light, right? Same happens, and that is why these are called liquid, right? Liquid sound. Okay. Then sixth one is glide. Glide is, as name suggests, that's the from one position to another smoothly. We move our mouth constantly from an articulation to a vowel sound. Examples are W and yo, right? So what's the W in win and yellow, right? So that's a win, that's a glide. Win, we है ना, and ये so ये such a little bit हिंदी में कह सकते हैं फिसलन जैसा, win and yellow, right? So that's a kind of slippery sound we can say, right? Now come to the next one, that is final sound. Final sound is, this sound does not usually occur at the end of a word in English. When you see a W at the end of a word, it usually means you bring your lips together in a small circle near the end of the vowel sound that comes before it, but the W sound is not produced, right? So W, this sound does not usually occur at the end of the word, what, W, right? So that's a important fact for you, that this sound does not usually occur at the end, means it does not come at the end of the word, right? W, when you see a W at the end of the word of a word, it usually means you bring your lips together in a small circle near the end of the vowel sound that comes before it, but W sound is not produced. And then the sound does not usually occur, this year sound occur and at the end of the word, so that is also called final sound, right? So these two things are very important. This sound does not usually occur at the end of the vowel word in English, right? And this is also, sound does not usually occur at the end of the word in English, means W and Y does not come at the end. And when you see W at the end of a word, it usually means you bring your lips together, brow, cow, right, in a small circle near the end of the vowel, cow, right, how, right? And then sound that comes before it means it ends with W is not produced, ow, so that's a sound of oo, u ka sound is, why, that's a uh, why does not come at the right now, I'm not getting, but this is something about manner of articulation. So here I'm winding up, and then very soon I'm going to make another video. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Welcome, Auto Rupees 2000, you're welcome.